Hi everyone, welcome back to What Do You Mean? On this episode, we're gonna be looking at property value. And a fun fact, I bet you didn't know that the game Monopoly was originally called the Landlord's game. So it's quite fitting for this video. Alright, we're gonna play it kind of closer to reality than what the game usually lays out. So up in the corner, we're gonna have a little year counter, and we're gonna have two players. One, the boomers, which will be an old school rotary phone, and they'll be versing millennials, which will be Kenny from South Park. So I managed to find something that each generation uniquely grew up with. Alright, and to keep this closer to reality, we'll say the boomer phone was born 1959. And really, they're not going to be buying property when they're 10 or even 15, so we'll say that they start doing their first lap when they hit around 20 years old. So until then, we'll spread out the money. Alright, so born in 59, they'll be getting to 20 years old by 79, and off the 20-year-old boomer phone goes. Alright, to give you an idea of how it was back then, and to keep things kind of in perspective, Australia only started using the dollar in 1966. We were using pound before that. The legal minimum wage in 1969 was $1.39, which would get you $52.54 in a week. In 79, it was $3.11, which would get you $118.43. That's 125% increase in those 10 years. And then 89, the minimum wage was $5.64, which would bring you in an average week $214.49. That's another 81% increase. Alright, I'll tell you the annual median house price for different capital cities from sources like the Department of Housing in New South Wales or Productivity Commission Victoria, Department of Land in WA. 1973, Sydney $27,400, Melbourne $19,800, Brisbane $17,500, Adelaide $16,225, Perth $18,850, Hobart $15,200, Canberra $26,850. And jump forward more than a decade, 1986, Sydney $98,325, Melbourne $82,000, Brisbane $63,000, Adelaide $73,000, Perth $58,000, Hobart $56,000, Darwin $87,000, Canberra $91,000. And something else that's quite interesting that happened 89 to 90. There was a change to income tax where the tax brackets for 88-89, the highest amount was $36,000, and you'd pay 49% for everything above 35k, which then was changed, adding one that was larger to it, which was 50,000, and was still 48% on the dollar above 50,000. Speaking of tax cuts, those boomers love their tax cuts. Typical. Alright, this is around now when Kenny, our millennial, was born, and just like the boomer phone, it's not going to do a lap in its first 10 years nor 20. So in that time, while the boomer phone continues its laps, I'll tell you how the minimum wage has been increased over time. Last one was 89 at $5.68, and then in 99 it was $10.14, getting you $385.40 a week. That's a 79% increase in 10 years. Something else that I thought was interesting that I found in my research was, now remember how I told you they added a tax bracket making the largest one $50,000? Well, it remained like that until about 2001, where that was increased to 60, and then again 62, 70 in 2004, 95 in 2005, 150 in 2006, and $180,000 in 2008, which I believe is what it is today. Back to minimum wages. In 2009, it was $14.31, getting you $543.78 for the week. That's a 41% increase from 99. Kenny, our millennial, can start doing his laps. And one thing that was kind of sort of impossible to match up to reality with this game was the actual property prices, funnily enough, because we'll take Oxford Street, one of the green ones that's worth $300. If that was $300 in 1980 in Sydney, Sydney in 2018, you'd have to pay $4,452 for it, and that's with it just being $300 to begin with. Or even if it was just a random property in Perth being $319.80. In 2016, you'd have to pay $3,459, because here's Australia's actual median property prices from capital cities from the Real Estate Institution of Australia. 2016, Sydney, 999,600, so like 400 shy of a million. Melbourne, 713,000. Brisbane, 480,000. Adelaide, 445,000. Perth, 520,000. Canberra, 570,000. Hobart, 385,000. Darwin, 582,500. According to Aussies, the home loan people, their median property value in 2018. Adelaide, 462,000. Brisbane, 535,000. Canberra, 678,000. Darwin, 496,000. Hobart, 452,000. Melbourne, 824,000. Perth, 487,000. Sydney, 1,026,000. I've told you about the highest tax bracket. Well, the lowest tax bracket was up to $6,000 you weren't charged tax for. That was until 2016. And then where beforehand, when you were taxed anything above $6,000, it started at 15%. And then once they start taxing us above $18,000, they've moved that up to 19%, where the largest tax bracket has been brought down over time from 49 to 45. They were very quick to increase the largest, but did not bother to increase the lowest threshold until 2016. Anyways, 2019, minimum wage, $19.49, bringing you in $740 a week. That's a 36% increase over the last 10 years. Long story short, what I'm saying is from 1979 to 2018, wages have increased, all in all, to my math, 526%. The problem is houses, on average, at a minimum, have risen by 778%. Alright, I didn't have to do all this to tell you all about wage stagnation or the increase of property value. It's just an important backdrop for everything else. All these little bits of information all go together to paint the bigger picture, if you feel me. Because I could have thought of something where I wasn't playing a board game by myself and just regurgitated things like, according to CoreLogic research reported by Aussie, nationally the median house value has delivered an annual growth rate of 6.8% and have risen in value by 412% from 111,524 to 459,900 over the past 25 years. And also regurgitated things like from Trading Economics, Australia's seasonally adjusted wage price index rose by 2.3% year on year in the second quarter of 2019, the same pace as the previous period and in line with market expectations. But this game is the perfect backdrop to regurgitate this from the Australian Parliament House, aph.gov.au website itself. The ABS, Australian Bureau of Statistics, housing occupancy and cost publication indicates that between 1994-95 and 2013-14, the proportion of households which are renters has increased from 26% to 31%. In addition, the proportion of households renting from private landlords has increased from 18% to 26% over the same period. On average, private renters spend more of their gross household income on housing costs than other tenure types. Specifically, the ABS reports private renters spend 20% of their gross household income on housing costs in 2013-14 compared to 16% of those with a mortgage, which in everyday speak, there are more renters, more of those renters are renting privately, and it costs more to be a renter. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to demonstrate with this video, is millennials, not just millennials, but renters are gonna get fucked over for renting. It seems like it would be virtually impossible to rent and save and survive. And the other real basic kind of obvious point is time. Boomers have had more time. They started off with better circumstances and have been doing it longer to then build that capital to continue doing it, to be landlords, to have people have to rent and not be able to even join the market. Because I pretty much did just play a game of Monopoly against myself, and knowing that the boomer phone started before the millennials, you didn't really need to rig it much because the phone ended up with the hotels, which wiped out Kenny, the bastards. Alright, I'll wrap this up here. Thanks for watching. Hope I kind of made my point. And like, subscribe, become a patron, and have a good one.